And welcome to our weekly Icarus Patchnotes discussion. I'm here with Carlos, so I'm quickly hopping over to Discord. Hey my man, how you doing?
It's Friday, so I'm doing well, and how are you doing?
Well, seeing the fact that it's Friday, meaning weekend, more time to game, I'm doing quite fine.
Good, indeed. Less gaming for me, however, because I'm going to get busy, but at the very least I could join you for the patch notes.
Exactly.
And from what you have hinted is that it is going to be at least much bigger than the previous ones, so
Oh
let's
yeah.
see what is in store.
Right, so this week 163, the New Year bug fixes and quality of life improvements. We have today is a bunch of bug fixes to start 2025 and some quality of life improvements alongside it. So this week's theme is bug fixes and quality of life. Now, thanks to the feedback over the holiday period, we have addressed a number of issues, and we've also fixed an issue that was limiting client performance, which is always welcome. We also have some details on what is to come next week involving the Lava Hunter present on Prometheus. And we're not talking about the little white ones. So let's jump in and let us have a read. A couple of notable improvements, especially the first one here. Coconut trees grown in croplots now also provide wood when harvested. Yes!
That's interesting because I know that you're super excited about it. Question is how much. I mean,
That I
obviously
do not know.
shipping this, but it is some wood. That's definitely an
Exactly.
improvement. I'm just wondering whether or not that was the original intention or whether or not that was just the people having made it's like it's like speculation. The speculation was that you would get wood, and therefore people were excited to get wood, and it
Uh,
was never intended to give wood, but because of people complaining that it doesn't, that they put it in.
yeah, I don't
Just
know
wondering which
whether it
one.
was always intended to have wood and
Yeah,
they
that's the
hadn't
question.
added it yet, or if this was added on massive request from community. I don't know.
Exactly, yeah. Maybe it's a bug because it doesn't do what we thought it was going to do, not that we ever said that it was going to do what we're saying it should have done, and therefore you need to fix the thing that wasn't broken because we want it fixed. Kind of logic, but
Yeah, I
indeed.
don't know how much wood we're gonna get, but hey, at least wood now has become an infinite resource, so that's good. I'm happy about that.
Indeed. Well, yes.
Next one, contact radio will now find the most upgraded contact device to connect to rather than the closest one. If you had multiple contact devices, one with and one without upgrades, and you were closer to the one without the upgrade, then the contact radio would connect to the closest one, the one without upgrade, so you couldn't start all the operations. Now it checks like, hey, what is the most updated one? And if there are multiple with the highest update level, I'm gonna connect to the closest one of those.
Well, it definitely means that, in my opinion, that the distance thing was being so it actually did connect to the actual tower. When we were
Yeah,
talking, I was like thinking now it would never actually connect to the physical device because there's no logical reason for it to do so as such. But the fact that
uh,
they said that this was connecting to a lower tier one does indeed mean it did some sort of rendering or calculations based upon distance, which in my opinion is pretty useless in the sense that, yeah, just have a device that connects up and allows you to do missions. What is the point?
planetary
But
connection on the handheld versus interplanetary on the board.
yes.
So for people who had multiple bases and had orbital and had contact devices on in multiple bases, but only the one in the main base fully upgraded, for example, they had to still had to travel to closer to the main base than the other bases to be
Yeah.
able to use contact radio to contact the most upgraded board. That now has been changed, which is good.
Yes. I yes.
Modifiers, buffs, debuffs, and auras, they have been optimized now, so they will not perform updates every frame, but I believe every 0.5 seconds or so. So that's good. There's gonna be
That's a big performance change.
exactly.
That was a very bad design if that's the way they implemented it.
Yeah.
That's a horrible design.
I'm no game designer. I
Yeah,
have no idea why they did it on every frame versus every X time. I don't know.
yes.
But
Moving on.
they changed it, so hopefully it'll improve our performance again. Good.
I would say that should definitely make a relatively noticeable difference.
Especially when you have buffs active. Yeah.
Especially when you have machines which have high frame rates because you play around with settings because you feel like you're playing on a 122 or 144 or 260 or 400 hertz monitor.
Mm-hmm.
But carrying on.
Fixed various issues with croplots as they would sometimes take damage when sheltered, but not in a greenhouse. So not greenhouse effect, but were sheltered. Then they still would take damage. I reckon the plants in the cropplot. Never had this issue myself, but then again, if I build a greenhouse, I always put glass around, so I have the full greenhouse effect.
Crop plots are damageable, right?
No, the crops in the plots.
Yes, but the crop plot itself has a health bar of some form or
Yes,
another,
yeah,
does it
but it
not?
never takes weather damage.
Yes, but it does take physical damage.
Yeah, if you hit it. Yeah.
Yes, okay, cool, just
It
checking.
still takes damage if you hit it. But apparently there
Great,
were
this is
instances where, and I assume they're talking about plants in the crop plots, that
yes,
those were taking damage even though the plants were sheltered. So they
correct.
fixed that. Good.
Yep.
Has made some adjustments to the simple quest rewards to no longer include outdated items as rewards, but instead they added new items where applicable. So basically
Makes sense.
update the reward table for simple quests. Balance pass on all fillable objects, canteen, water troughs, etc. In general, they have received a greater maximum capacity. In general, so that
Interesting.
does mean there are items whose content has been decreased, and I believe the water barrels capacity got decreased.
How much were they?
If I'm not mistaken, I'm talking from memory from early morning, numbers are in the patch notes.
Oh, okay, got it. Well, it's just, I mean, I've never really felt like the current canteens we're using, which is the newest higher tier thermo semi weird things that you buy from the workshop. It feels like it's always had enough water,
Oh
but
yeah,
obviously we've moved there pretty early on because it's not a large financial investment of rent to actually purchase said item.
exactly.
So it's just that it's really just, I mean, it's most likely, oh, it's water troughs. Ah, the water
Canteens as
troughs are
well,
probably.
but the
Yeah,
troughs
okay, I'm
indeed.
ignoring the canteens because, like I said, the only thing that was sort of lower capacity was the water skin, and that was mostly an issue because it actually leaked. So
The water skin leaking has been changed a long time ago already. For
yeah, I know, but
ages that
that's
they don't leak no
that.
more.
Well, that was, all I remember was the quantity wasn't much when you even
True.
got the two sips out of it when there was something remaining after it leaked, because that's when I lost. But the water
Uh,
troughs is probably more in thoughts. So yeah.
yeah, but yeah, I do indeed recall the time when we were playing missions still, and we
Hmm.
didn't have much space equipment, and we had to rely on the water skins indeed, and they leaked and they emptied out pretty quickly. It was better to carry around sponges than water skins because sponges did not leak.
Yes, yes, that's correct. But all right, so those are the fixes, quote unquote.
The
And now these are the
notable
improvements,
improvements.
semi-fixes. Yeah, okay.
Now when it
Changes.
comes to fixes, this week we are releasing a number of smaller bug fixes and some small quality of life improvements that have been requested in the past. With the new year we thought we would take the time to address some of these. And there you have the picture of the big blue.
Still haven't seen him in game.
He only roams around in the null sector. So don't worry, we'll be doing Prometheus storyline missions again, and we will advance towards the null sector. No worries. And when we get there, I'm gonna sit back and let you do most of the work, as to not spoil much of what's going on.
Yep, sounds good to me.
This week, some client performance improvements. In the past, we've spoken about occlusion optimizations regarding the buildings. 10 weeks ago, like the weather in base, etc. Recently, we performed the same treatment on deployables, benches, trophies, decorations, etc. And we came away with some performance improvements. When we pushed this live a few weeks ago, we made a mistake. It was only active on servers or single player. So players connecting to others or connecting to a dedicated server would not receive any of these improvements. This has now been enabled so that all players will receive the improvements. Good, good.
All right.
I'm always happy to receive client performance, because I basically exclusively play on my dedicated server, so yeah.
Indeed.
Nice picture of the bull there, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen the bulls. I know, I'm not sure. Did they introduce the? They haven't introduced
Not yet, no.
the breeding mechanics yet. So
Oh,
indeed, because there's also the rooster to the left of it, which also
yep.
looks pretty nice. It's a nice looking rooster.
Yeah, that bull. I wonder, could you use a couple of, like a herd of bulls to protect your base instead of a pack of wolves?
Well, well, that's a fair point. Bulls are relatively things you don't want to mess with, regardless of what type of animal you are. So yeah, that would be a pretty terrifying opponent to fight. But
Yep.
yeah,
Applying bleed
it's
damage and such.
well, yeah. I mean, it's I doubt it though, which is a bit of a shame. I mean, a bull should be able to, be a semi-protector, but then it should be a little bit overpowered because that's a pretty beefy, boy right there by the looks of it. But we'll see. We shall see.
Well, tameables, those pets basically they only go to level 25, where the wolves can go to level 40. So they are limited in level, but still.
No, the wolves also only go to 25.
So, oh yeah, you're right. It's
Yeah.
the mounts that go to
Mounts go
40.
to
Yeah,
yeah, exactly, yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what type of talent perks the bull and the rooster would have.
yeah,
But we shall see about that when they eventually introduce it.
exactly. Next week, Lava Hunter respawn. So next week we will enable the Lava Hunter to respawn on open worlds, so that it can be fought again once operations have been completed. So we're not talking about the little white ones, we're talking about his big brother, the one which you fight in the last Prometheus mission before opening up the null sector. And
I shall see it once we
yeah,
get there, but
it's a
it is
chunky
a good
fella.
idea to. Oh, it depends. I mean, you could fight the Scorpion King repeatedly, right?
In Styx, yes. In
And you could
Prometheus it
fight.
doesn't show up. In Prometheus only has sandworms as world bosses. Styx has sandworms and alpha wolves and scorpion kings.
Yes.
Prometheus so far has no world bosses, so it looks like they're introducing Lava Hunter as a world boss in Prometheus after you've done that operation. Cool.
Basically, that's the point. Yes.
I'm so gonna fight that guy again. I did it for the operation, and at some point he got stuck, so it was relatively easy to kill him. Relatively easy to kill him, but I want the full experience.
Indeed. Having it cheesed isn't, especially on the first attempt, is not the most satisfying experience.
Exactly. I mean, it allowed me to rather easily continue the operation, but it was a bit of a letdown
Ch-
indeed.
Challenges make things fun. If you take a look at the, Soulborn or Elden Ring or those types of Dark Soul genre games where it puts you through a living nightmare every minute of the game, that does appeal to certain players. But
No,
just with a challenge comes the satisfaction of a reward, Hence,
Exactly.
just
Plus,
playing on
it
easy
makes it
mode.
more interesting.
Well, yes, but certain people at least would like to feel like they've accomplished something rather than being held their hand and guided through a field of lilies and skipping and singing and everything is fine. Some people would want to suffer a
Yep.
bit.
So, and like a bit of a challenge. That's why next week I'm gonna start a new character on a new open world because I've done all the operations with my current
Hmm?
solo character. So I'll just be starting a new character, and to give it a bit of a challenge, I'm gonna start a new open world.
Yeah. Interesting.
Anyway,
Good idea.
oh yeah, and it will allow me to show off some early gameplay again.
True. True.
Now, your support makes these updates possible, i.e. if you want to support the team, feel free and consider buying some of the DLCs. We have a weekend deal bundle, base game, the Sticks and the New Frontiers DLCs, and a couple of extra DLCs like Interior Decorations Pack and a couple of more for 24% off. I reckon this one does not, I don't know, probably does not have the outpost in it.
Doesn't seem to.
And there's also,
Outposts is in the complete set by the looks of it.
yeah, it is complete a set. There's like the dynamic bundle, where it's like, hey, everything you don't have yet, you can get in one bundle with a 20% discount.
Well, I was more impressed with the 75% off the base game. So that is a fairly large discount, and usually,
What, 2 weeks ago or so? When was it?
no, it's currently still present on the Icarus
Ah,
Steam page. So if you see to the right, I'm not sure if you have it visible, but
yes,
it's
yes,
been
yes, you're right.
it's pretty
75%
much
off.
right. There you go. And that's for me usually a bigger sale pitch for most things because especially if people haven't gotten into the game and it's an interesting game and you usually stumble across some videos on YouTube or on whatever have you or whatever, pick your
So,
poison,
if you hover
then
over it, it actually does show Prometheus, a lot of Prometheus imagery.
oh, I haven't even seen that yet. Oh yeah, I saw the swamp there for a second.
Swamp with
I'm
the green
wondering if that's
haze and
because
grasslands with the purple haze.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, I mean, and volcanic biome. Yeah, I saw that a little bit as well. I'm wondering because I remember that they included it as part of the base game when people had it, but then it became a paying
Sticks.
downloadable. Was it
Sticks
sticks? Sorry.
initially was free. Uh,
Yeah.
and at some point, like a year and a half or so after they introduced Sticks, they made it a paid DLC. It was free initially as a thank you to the players who stayed with the game during the rocky start.
Indeed, I recall that. But yes, that was the bigger one. But I believe we should be chipping away at the changelog, which interestingly enough is just a singular fixed tab.
The future content actually is in the comments to this post. The first 3 comments consist solely of future content.
Ah, I haven't seen that. I have to probably see how to get to that part
So you
because
click
on
on
this one,
the little text bubble or the discuss
there's
button actually underneath there.
the discuss button, but that's once we get to
Yeah.
the pass through the fixed
Ah.
tab. Gotcha.
So let's see. Hot and cold post processing effect blending no longer done via multicast from server to clients, but is now entirely client side. Uh, Decreasing the amount of data transfer between server and client.
Hmm.
Damage number spawning no longer a reliable multicast. No idea what it is now though. Hot and cold
Hmm.
post-processing effects now gradually eased in and out when applied. Should fix the bug where effects would pop in and out as the player moves quickly between cold, normal and hot areas. Especially fun if you manage to be on the edge between desert and an Arctic biome and you have a storm going in both. Like a heat
Sure.
wave in the desert and a blizzard in the Arctic. You go from
Indeed.
plus 50 to minus 30 or so.
Sounds reasonable. Or it's just people playing around with their sensors and doors and heaters in certain biomes, but regardless, it's a very niche scenario.
I know Olympus has one, one passage from desert to Arctic, and another one in a cave, in a tunnel. Don't know about Styx and Prometheus anymore. Prometheus,
Yep.
volcanic, Arctic. Uh, yes, there is the one in the null sector between S-lines and ice sheet.
Yep.
But not in the base map, so to say, between Arctic and volcanic. And Styx, I don't know.
95 to 98% to 99% of players probably would never have encountered such a thing or taken note of it, but they fixed it because it existed, but
Yeah,
that's great.
people were mentioning it, so they fixed it. Good.
Duplicator actor detection for prefabs tools, which doesn't make much sense.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think we use a prefab tool. Prefab is this what they use to make like the pre-constructed bases for our operations.
Oh yeah, yes indeed.
Maybe.
Crocodile crit setup, yeah,
The crit setup's more accurate and provide more predictable hit reactions. The belly is the crit zone for the crocodile. And if he has his mouth open, straight through
that
his
is how,
throat.
yeah, definitely.
They've been working on firearms. Significantly increased the weight of the rifles and shotguns. The tier 3 pistol became lighter, the tier 4 one heavier. The ammo weight for pistols have been reduced, the shotgun shells ammo weights have been increased. This will better differentiate firearms and have weights be more reflective of the weapon size. Kinda makes sense.
Indeed.
They significantly increase, I don't know how much they will increase. I don't think a rifle is gonna all of a sudden gonna be weighing 50 kilos.
No, they'll probably keep it within perspective. I think it was just maybe the pistols were a bit too heavy, I'm assuming. But yet again, you shall see.
Uh,
Wasn't really a factor
and like a
for most
pistol
people.
round having the same weight as a shotgun shell. Eh,
Yeah,
they changed that. Lighter pistol rounds and heavier shotgun shells. Makes sense.
indeed.
Fixed up and kiwi mission. Crops taking damage when sheltered but not inside the glass house has been fixed. Indeed, crops in the plot. Shrink thickness of floor weather culling mesh to prevent weather leakage when jumping into the piece from below. How do you jump
Doesn't sound like
into a
what should
floor from
happen.
below? But okay. Yeah.
Well, you could have a roof and then you jump on something and then you jump onto semi through the full roof, which is the floor at that point. But yeah, yet again, a
Yeah.
very specific case point. As long as they could actually fix, or have they fixed the actual indoor weathering display yet? Because that was more
Yes, that
concerning.
have been fixed quite a few weeks ago already.
Cool, cool.
When they were doing the occlusion culling, then initially you had weather effects visual only, weather effects
Yes.
inside the base. Not factual,
Correct.
but only visual. And I believe
Yes.
the next week or the week thereafter, that was fixed as well.
Perfect.
Updating, adding updated destructibles for turrets. So the damage phases, the meshes have been changed. Fixed mission.
That's actually quite helpful visually to be able to determine how damaged a turret is, for example. That's a really nice one.
Exactly. Fixed mission explosive used in Zephyr and new missions for You need it for Elysium, probably. Using an unnecessary skeletal mesh instead of a static mesh. More turret destructibles updated. Tweak the light assault, carbine, gunplay to be a little more tame. Animation screen shake. Improve the muzzle visual effects. After all, it's a light carbine and not an
Fair.
assault rifle.
Yes. Correct. No, that's a fair point. It was a little bit over the top from that perspective.
Yeah,
Because it's shooting pistol rounds realistically, so it's not,
exactly.
massive bullets. Yeah, makes sense.
Modifying the contact radio logic so it always finds the most upgraded, closest mission device. So it checks for the most upgraded mission device rather than just the closest. We talked about that already. Previous structure. Moved C to the resources section of the field guide so it shows the recipes it is used in. Okay, what recipes are coconuts used in? Type in coconut in the field guide and click it, and it says, okay, you can plant it here at the seeds, and it is used in those recipes. And which are, and you can click up on the recipes, and you can see which bench they are crafted in. More turrets. Let's go a little bit more high over these items. And the water rocks, causing texture loads. My biasing poor visuals for no performance gain, so I'm glad they removed those. Fixed medic cabinet collision to ensure shelter is correct and the cabinet is inside. Do we have a medic cabinet? I don't recall such
Apparently.
such a device.
True. Can't say that I know there's a backpack like that, isn't there?
There
But
is
I
the
have no idea if
satchel,
there's cabinets.
the medical
No, there's
satchel.
also the backpack,
There's
wasn't there?
the
Like the one that
medic backpack,
reduces.
yes.
Yeah.
But this one is specifically talking about a cabinet, so a placeable.
No idea.
I see. Yeah, check the field guide.
Yeah, there you go. Good test.
Remove
There's some.
outpost 002 as a map entry for space row in the trains table, causing fishing data to be incorrect on Arkwood outpost. So there is this one fish type which only spawns in the Arkwood outpost. The fish device
Alright.
didn't detect it there, and I think the fish itself wasn't spawning there either at all. A little bit conflicting information about that. I've seen multiple people complaining about this particular fish. So they fix it now. It does spawn on the Arkwood outpost again. So people can now actually, if they have the outpost, it is, can now actually finish this Steam achievement for like having caught all these fish.
Definitely think achievement hunters would not have been very happy that some particular item necessary for the achievement was outside of their reach. So yeah,
Exactly.
definitely good for fixing. Arctic Vesper trophy crafting, not granting bestiary points. That's also something.
Yeah, I hadn't
That
noticed
you
that,
could
but then
also
again, I
mention.
haven't crafted many of them either.
Yeah, it's interesting that they would actually give you one for crafting just the
If you
trophy.
kill
I mean,
it, you get
it's usually
bestiary
skinning and
points.
killing.
If you
Yeah,
skin them, you
and
get
when you
bestiary
skin it.
points. And if
Hmm.
you craft a trophy, you get bestiary points. So for Arctic Fest, you only got trophy bestiary points for killing it, because, like you said, you don't skin them. But now at least you get points as well for crafting the trophy. So that's good.
Yeah, okay. It does make a bit of a difference, yeah. Although you don't know, you get it once or twice. I don't know how many hundreds of
Every time you make the
Vesper
trophy,
trophies you would
a
probably.
trophy you get a point.
Yes, I know. That wasn't the point I was making. It's like usually after making 2 trophies, you will stand back and say, I have enough trophies. It's like
Yeah.
I mean, you had the old days where people would put 100 deers that they shot on the wall because that's the man cave and it's, you need to put something on the wall. But you have a whole bunch of other heads that can be fit on walls, including mammoths. So a little bat thing, yeah, one of them just to complete the collection is usually how it goes.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, I have a couple of them hanging already. I don't need more. And for me, the Arctic
It does
Vespa
make the
trophy, it
question
is.
about assembling or dis.
Well, you use one vestige for making the trophy, so I reckon upon destroying the trophy, you don't get the vestige back.
Have you ever tested it?
I have not tested it though. Well, we can easily
Might be
do
worth
that
a try.
during subsequent gameplay. Just craft the trophy and destroy it
May-
again. If it goes for one trophy, it goes for
True,
all trophies.
most likely.
Um, Added max stack size to the field guide. Just some
Useful.
nice extra info. Fixed beeswax advanced set being called base set in the tech tree. Beeswax base set. Beeswax. So beeswax advanced set is the beeswax wood thingy, which has, I believe, the same storm resistance as stone. Looks like wood, especially on the outside. It's 2.5 times the durability. Okay, let's see. Clean fillable data. Remove unused and combined duplicates. Remove related and obsolete item data. A little bit later you will see the numbers about the balance tweaks for the fillable data. Fix deployable, highlightable and view distance initialization being server only. Now deployables with custom highlightable setups. Synchronous highlighting from multi-mesh setups will work on clients and so will the recent view distance optimizations. Good. Fix wooden cupboard crafting being uncraftable on machining bench and fabricator. Huh, only on the crafting bench? They never added it to the successors? Huh. Hadn't noticed this, but then again I always make the iron cupboards and not the wooden ones.
True.
Uh, Disable light functions on medium shadow quality, not just low, for a potential performance boost without needing to disable shadows entirely. Yeah, I have mine on high anyway.
Saw that one. Makes sense.
Updated the simple quest rewards. They now have added brambles, coconuts in their seeds. Oh, cool. So we can get bramble seeds in the quest reward on Olympus and Styx.
Well, it says and their seeds, so it'll be
Yeah.
quite nice that you get a piece of brush as a reward for completing a simple quest reward. It's like
Well,
I wanted something cool, and
brambles,
here's a shrub. Oh, thank you.
brambles is a Prometheus only foliage. Only in Prometheus in the wild. So, and I'm not sure you can get it from the workshop. So this could mean that we can grow brambles in Olympus and Styx as well.
Indeed.
Removed the thermos drinks from the simple quest rewards as they were for the old drink system. You know, before they added the contamination level, the unfiltered water, filtered, purified, etc. Uh, Increase the enzymes reward count for simple quest to 2 to 5 instead of 1. And this one grants a small amount of experience when harvesting bones.
Yeah, that's a good one because you do sort
Yeah.
of spend time hitting, you know, it with your pickaxe or knife or whatever you're using at the time. So therefore, it is harvesting, and that should give you some XP. And I actually never thought about it, but that's correct. We weren't
Uh,
getting XP for it.
Olympus sticks and early game Prometheus bones is basically the best way to get epoxy.
Yeah, it's required. So definitely you're going to
So
be crushing a
yeah,
lot of bone or weathering it.
but now you
Good
also
one.
get experience for harvesting the bones. Nice.
Only a
So
small
hunting
amount
is
for 2 XP or something, but
yeah, but hunting is gonna become even more of a quick way to level up. Kill an animal for
yeah,
experience,
because
skin
already
it
you
for
get like
experience,
decent.
harvest
Yeah.
the bones for experience, turn the bones into crushed bones for experience, turn crushed bone into epoxy for experience. Nice. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
make a trophy for experience if you get a vestige.
true.
Balance tweaks include increasing large water trough from 15 to 30 liters, increasing the filtered from 30 to 60 liters, decrease the water barrel from 300 to 150 liters, increasing the watering can from 5 to 10 liters, and the watering carts decreased from 300 to 250 liters. So the
But
watering
the
can is
watering can though
doubled.
is not the, but it's not the canteen,
No, no, no,
it's
no.
the can.
Yeah,
It's the watering, the
gieter.
thing that has is a heater, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's a watering can. And on
Mm.
Prometheus, on my Prometheus scope open world, I used a watering can and a half to water all the wooden crop plots. Now I can do it with one.
Yep, sounds good.
A couple of fixes for the biofuel radar.
Mm.
Prevent raiders from being interactable before deploy animation is finished. Let's already start the radar before we have fully deployed it.
Well, when we used to speed run the second mission, the one of the bears spawn, and then you run up to the thing, and then we
The
had
bear,
some of those
the
missions that you,
jaguar, and
yeah,
the
jaguar,
what's the third one?
wolves,
Wolves.
yeah. So that one was like, you know, you had to like plant it quickly, and then I never got to the point where you could interact with it quick before. It was just like, yeah, put it down, and then I think on occasion we would jump down and then interact with it, and then go push the button again because it gets interrupted. But all right, that's a good one.
Yeah.
And some small other fixes.
Fix nomad progression breaking if players disconnect while the starting dialogue is playing. Ensure tomato grow properly. Skips to next step. Naomi, this is the first Prometheus mission, right? Where you have to like
It sounds, yeah,
grow the tomato and then go and rescue Daisy. And uh,
possibly.
I do recall in this mission, if you like it, if you already had tomatoes grown and then you start a mission, you do test an operation, for example, you start it and then it says now grow a
Yeah,
tomato, and then you straight away picked up the tomato in the from another crop plot. You chucked it in the pot. It ticked off that quest step and never progressed to the next step.
yes.
Hopefully this has been fixed now as well, because it was annoying. So basically what you had to do
Indeed.
is you grow the tomato and wait for the tomato you got from the mission to be fully grown. Pick up that one, put it in a pot, because it was like a timer based. Like the game was like, you need at least this amount of time before the tomato is grown. But they never specified it specifically in the quest step. But yeah,
It's fixed now.
hopefully we will see once I get to the with my new character to Prometheus again.
Perfect.
Then
Means
we
on to
get
future content.
to the future content, which is in the discussion, and the first
Yes,
three
I saw.
posts are
Quite
all
big.
future content.
Hence,
Oh yeah.
yep.
A lot
I
of work has been done on the Great Hunt. There are a couple of quite interesting entries in here, but let's
tidbits,
quickly
as
go
they
through
say.
them.
Indeed.
Fix sofa seating height. Coolio.
Which
First
what future content?
post
Or are we? Oh,
8th
no, are we going to?
future content.
Yeah, future content. Adding Great Hunt test music.
Yeah, and then the 8th one, fix sofa seating height.
Ah, interesting. All right. Yeah, I see that. Yeah. Okay. Interesting one. Does adjustable seating heights? That's a very
I reckon
niche.
it's a visual thing, like
Oh yeah, but
where you were
yeah,
either floating above the sofa or you were like sunk in the sofa. I reckon.
makes sense. Yeah. Definitely. I think that makes sense. Yeah. Mhm.
Uh,
So there was an option where you could just skip the boss and just walk on past him, like just skip the thing. That's by putting a blocker in the back, so you don't just walk it out. So
uh,
good idea.
sorry, where what you talking about? Oh yeah, add a
You
blocker in
said
the
fix
swamp.
so
Yeah,
yeah, ape area to stop players from just walking back. So it's like yeah, you're trapped. You have to either fight the boss or you
or
don't
die,
just progress
die
past it.
trying.
So
Yeah,
well, exactly, yeah,
kill
that's
the
right.
boss or die
So
trying. I
exactly,
don't
or get killed.
wanna.
Yeah, exactly.
Tough luck, mate. You're locked in.
Yeah, pretty much. Which it actually it's a very common thing to do. So I'm surprised that they don't usually always do that. But I don't think I've ever tried to run away.
Uh, I've done it on the Prometheus storyline mission once. The one which is the next in line for the co-op open world to do, because I got overwhelmed. But that also had something to do with the fact that the charge counter was stuck. So yeah, and then I got overwhelmed. I was underprepared, huh? I have to admit, I was
Well,
underprepared. But
we'll see. But then there are some other things. But then there's a
adding swing
swinging chair.
chair, soft
Yeah, I
armchair,
saw
and a
that.
soft sofa item setup, recipes, etc. for the homestead. Cool.
Sounds nice.
Um,
Mm.
roof curved angle up glass and roof curved angle down glass. Cool. Including left right with inverted versions.
Have you tested
Nice.
with the curved glass? I recall there having been mention of curved glass,
In the
and I
future
haven't
content
seen
only,
curved
but
glass.
I haven't seen it in game
Okay,
yet.
okay, just checking.
Rock Golem is gonna have juveniles as well.
I think that's been mentioned because there was a whole riding thing, and I'm not sure if that really means we're going to ride the rock golems, and I have the impression that we will be able to ride rock golems. Don't know why I remember this, but that's
No,
what
I
I seems
think
to be
Rock
like.
Golem is one of the Great Hunt animal or targets, bosses, whatever. And he's gonna call in the help of juveniles, smaller variants, to help him out fighting the player.
Okay.
That's what I think.
All right. Yeah, I just had some impression that that doesn't make sense, but I recall something where you would be able to ride it, and I don't know why I think that. It's definitely not a, I hope to ride them. It's just
Well,
that I
we
didn't
have
piece together
been
the thought.
contemplating about it, like how nice would it be
Yeah. Well, it's a very odd mount choice, but it's a
yeah,
unique one, to say the least.
adding Rock Golem autonomous spawns for the dance to the Olympus map spawn groups.
Yes.
So Great Hunt isn't gonna be like a Prometheus exclusive or something. No, this one is mentioning the Olympus map.
Almost sound
So I
like
reckon it's like for all
resource
maps, by the way.
facilities. Yeah. Yeah. Could be like research facilities where, like a Jurassic Park themed kind of thing, where you play around with big creatures and then the big creatures are kind of escaped and now they're terrorizing the planet.
Would be nice.
That would be like a lore, a way to sort of make it everywhere, but we'll see.
Adding a new
Exotic rocks again.
destroyed base pre-built structure.
Interesting. Well, I mean,
Another one, adding collision to exotic rocks in G8 RGD. Great Hunt, something something.
yep.
Exotic rocks, so you go in the Great Hunt thing arena and then you can mine exotics there?
Well, it could be that it's a high risk, high reward scenario in the sense that you would need a reason to do it, and if
Yeah,
the items dropped from the bosses aren't good enough, that you would have like rare resources which they gathered because they're considered, it makes sense to some extent. So,
yeah. If you're fighting a rock golem, do you have the time to mine exotics?
of
Also,
course,
if you're gonna mine them, maybe best do it with a normal pickaxe, not with a miasmic one.
it might make things easier.
Fixing collision on drill, which appear on some rock golem spawners. Well, so you have to drill them out, or drill the rock golems out, or what?
I think it would be a trigger. It's like the thumper being a trigger for the land shark. Perhaps in engaging certain drills in certain locations would attract golems.
Maybe. It's an interesting approach, though.
Mm.
I
It
think
does
I'm,
mean that you can control when they spawn, the
yeah,
same thing as the land sharks, so
I think I'm gonna like that.
makes sense. The wolf revolver has appeared again.
Yep. Optimized landing pad, fixed collision and LODs,
Still
and some
waiting
are
for those landing
wave.
pads.
Sorry.
Still waiting for those landing
Yeah.
pads.
And way further in the future content, they said something about a decreased damage radius when landing on a pod, meaning there will still be some damage around, but like way
It was
smaller
mentioned
radius.
that was mentioned like some patches ago as well, or like a couple of patch notes ago.
Updates to the ape scream.
Immersion is important.
Imagine someone sitting in a studio there screaming like an ape.
Somebody has to do it.
Yeah. Updated mask for DCO Scarecrow. Maybe that's
Could
actually the tier 2 creature deterrent. But
Yeah, something to that effect, I would imagine. Or a new one, who knows? Especially if it's like higher tier creatures flying about on the Great Hunt, that maybe it needed a better scarecrow to be able to dissuade animals from killing you.
and Scarecrow is usually used to keep birds away from plants. But
Yeah, but a scarecrow could also refer to any an animal deterrent as an item. It's like, oh, plant a tier 1 scarecrow, a tier 2 scarecrow, a tier 3 scarecrow. Scarecrows to dissuade animals, not particularly perhaps birds, to from being there.
second post, adding ape mouth spit effect to play when short roar audio is played. So it's gonna be
It makes
visible as well as audio.
immersive.
Yeah.
No great lumbering ape which is screaming would have a perfectly dry mouth. If you've seen some cool games like Dragons or, great things as such, that usually having a little bit of slobber flying about does make it a bit more immersive.
And when it lands on your helmet, like all of a sudden you can't see nothing no more, or very
That's pretty cool.
distorted.
That would be pretty cool. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
but that's like reminiscent of like certain alien games online where it's like, the alien is like screaming and then your vision or, yeah, it sounds pretty cool.
The modifier states no longer ticks internally every frame, but they tick every 0.25 seconds. Not every zero point 0.5, but every 0.25. Okay.
That's still pretty quick.
True. But yeah, 4 times a second instead of 30 times a second.
Yeah.
60 or 122 or whatever. Yeah.
hmm That's if we understand what they're meaning by frame, because frame is.
True, but if I run 30 FPS in my base, it is frames per second. So.
Well, I don't know, but it depends on every frame. It's like every frame is it another terminology used for a surface cycle? Is it a frame as like I said, if it's a frame of a generation of your game frame, like a FPS frame, then yes, it's like we mentioned, that's going to be a big performance change,
True.
depending on how high your frames a second is running.
Updated rakes and added new openings closing animations for building window curtain fur, window curtain platinum weave, and window curtain silk weave. Now, we currently have the leather curtains. So this for me tells, it says we're gonna get fur curtains, platinum weave curtains, and silk weave curtains. Fur and platinum weave are current materials already. Silk we do not have yet. So that next to a deployable, a curtain, it would also point towards a new material.
Well, wasn't there mention of certain spider type creatures? Because it doesn't necessarily need to be a silk worm. It could be spider silk, and spider silk would be a resource in the ice biomes, and therefore there would be something interesting. But it's more interesting to
Basically like
me that
the
obviously,
guano from the
well,
Vespers.
yeah, exactly, yeah. But it's more like to the degree as well as that it means that they're really focusing on the interior decoration of the soft swinging chairs and the arm loungers and the height settings to try and make things more immersive indoor when it comes to decor, which is nice because I would like that
Oh
more
yeah.
because then it becomes like a home building simulator. But then it's also to the degree that I hope that they introduce. Obviously, they have do they have the current comfort bonus type of
Yes.
system?
Yeah. They have. They definitely have.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, okay.
And
So,
I've been exploring it a little bit. Like someone told me in chat, hey, did you realize you can stack the woven rugs?
oh,
So I stacked them, quite a few of them. They only take the floor space of one rug, but they give me the bonus of 7 because I've stacked 7 on top of one another.
sounds great.
And then I was like, okay, now I've tested it, now I'm gonna take them, pick them up again, because you know. But yeah,
Well, you can put them around the
they do
house.
have comfort.
Sure. Nice.
Uh, like furniture adds comfort, rugs add
Yes,
comfort, trophies add comfort. And 2
makes
wolf
sense.
trophies gives more comfort than 1 wolf trophy. So yeah, the more trophies you put around, the higher, till you reach the cap that is, but the higher your comfort is. And then your well
Nice.
rested buff lasts longer and such. So yeah, they have such
Exactly,
a
yeah.
system in place. Um,
Lithium red quad.
New geothermal water type. Plus new material. Water material override added to the terrace blueprint. Tweaks fresh materials. Added and painted new puddle decal. A new water type. And a new material. Sulfuric water?
Well, you see, here's the thing. For me, it's like I read red quad. A quad is a quad bike which you get on and ride around on.
No. You
Geothermal water type is called gasoline. New material and water material overrides is so like how to fill
no.
it up. Tweaks to various materials make it so that it
So
looks quite nice. And added a new decal above the side of a puddle, which is just a decal on the quad. I don't
no.
know.
So if they're talking about red quad, you have like red quad, but the one above the foliage pass on the yellow quad. These are just parts of the
Yeah,
map.
red, yellow, a red quad and a yellow quad.
No, it's a quadrant, and not really a fourth of the map, but a part of the map, a particular area of
Yeah,
the
cool.
map, color
Got
coded
it.
to keep them apart.
Makes sense. Falling sand material. That's called an hourglass.
Sand, sand waterfall like you have in Planet Crafter. There's a blueprint as well, huh?
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah,
Or is it
maybe we
particle
can make. I don't
systems?
know.
Yeah, interesting. Well, sand is a particle,
Yeah.
I think, so
Well,
could be
blueprints. What you
interesting.
gonna make with falling sand? Like crumbling walls? I don't know. Floating glass?
An hourglass,
Breaking
an
glass?
hourglass, but
Yeah. Hourglass is a blueprint.
yeah, it's
No,
an item.
true.
It'll be like, in certain games like Kingdom Come Deliverance, you would actually have an hourglass whilst you're doing alchemical potions because you need to, boil certain ingredients for 1 or 2 turns, quote unquote, so it becomes a more in-depth system to actually crafting potions rather than just pushing a button to
Hmm.
craft it, which was actually quite enjoyable.
Not sure what I think about that. I'll have to think about it. Yes, more immersive. Yes, more annoying.
Yes, way more annoying.
Yeah, you can't like say, okay, go craft me 500 potions and then go do something else.
You could, you could go quick crafting eventually, but that was after you got a talent for it or something to that effect. But either way, it was just there's different things you could do with hourglasses. It's a measurement of time, and it could be something that's added as a Tech 1 item rather than having a digital display of completing something. Yet again, emphasizing immersion, but I doubt it.
True.
That's giving them way too much credit. That's also like stupid. That's to a certain extent.
Let's see. Further improvement to the Great Hand UI. Add some currency.
Although,
We're gonna get a new.
Sandfall collision turned off, player will now be able to walk through them.
That would definitely that definitely more looks like a sand waterfall
Like
like we have seen in player
like a
in Dungeon
sand
Crafter.
door of some sort? Like a sand door-ish kind of thing? I have no idea. That's interesting. Like a hidden room tomb thing where you had to walk through.
I don't
I
know.
don't
The
know, it's
one
pretty interesting.
remove collision. Where is it above or below this one?
It's which one were
Here
you reading?
I see him. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a very interesting one because that couples into that one
Yeah.
as well. So there's meant to
Sandfall.
be yeah, Sandfall, like I said, that's the
Uh,
Sandfall, the blueprint thing. So either it could be like a door of some sort, or I have no idea.
yeah, but then you would need to regularly fill up the
fill up.
sand on
Yeah,
top.
I have no idea what that could be though, but it's Sandfall collisions turns off player unable to walk through them. Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, we can keep that burning on the back of the mind.
Yeah. But yeah, further
Um,
improvement bits back up. Further improvements to the Great Hunt UI. Add some currency. Is it going to be new currency or is this going to be like the I don't know.
well, new currency makes sense
Or maybe
because if
you
you think
get
about
some
it, it's
ren
already
and
exotic.
or exotics for completing a Great Hunt thingy.
No, I think it's like
Or
maybe
is the
enzymes to some
biomass?
extent. I think it's like a type of enzyme. You get a new currency which you would need to use in order to craft the special legendary sort of weapons because
Yeah.
the bosses have
But
this unique enzyme of some sort that you need as a crafting material,
yeah, but
probably.
I would say that shouldn't be a an animal specific currency. So you have multiple forms of.
No, I would think it's, just having one. It's like they're boss items, so like a
Yeah,
boss
but
enzyme.
if you kill the rock golem, you can't
Yeah,
use that stuff to make the great ape stuff.
not the specific thing, but it will be a component thereof. It's like a red exotic. It's
Yeah.
like
So
it's
like
like it's like enzyme. You use enzymes for multiple blueprints.
yeah,
Perhaps I don't know what you use enzymes for, but therefore
yeah,
it's like,
that
yeah,
way.
this is a unique DNA strain, which is like a monster thing. It's like it makes you think a little bit of Avatar, right? So Avatar has unique, well, not unique, but like big boss things which
Mm.
are unique to Pandora, and therefore if you kill the big one, then you obviously get like a resource, and then you could maybe spend those resources, but you would get less or more depending on the size of the creature that you've
Yeah,
killed or
or
something to
you
that
get
effect.
like both a generic biomass thing and
Yeah,
an animal specific
that's correct.
part as well.
It would
Yeah,
probably have
maybe.
that still, yeah. But rather you would need more of the one than the other, and that's the same thing as like the cave worm stuff perhaps. But yeah, yet again, we'll see.
Another one, add zipline and night vision prototypes. Yay, zip lines! We can
The night
finally
vision.
quickly go down big mountains.
True. I do like the zipline idea because that brings you back to like the forest or something like that, where you would build zip lines to sort of travel between certain things, and you would actually strategically plan height of base A versus base B, etc.
Uh,
But the
I
night vision is also interesting.
yeah. But for the zipline, I remember when in sticks at some point we had to build a tower quite high up, away from the river, and then I wanted to like go back to the river, but you had to travel like 2-3 kilometers to go back to the river because you had to go around cliff sides, etc. With the zip line, you can just go like straight down towards the river. That's good, definitely gonna decrease a lot of travel time. You can make a lot of shortcuts
Well, you
going
could
down.
just do what we do currently, which is shove ramps on the side of it into the thing so it sort of bolts down. But yeah, I mean, it's a zip line is going to be more for me, not about getting down a place. It's about moving larger distances quicker. But you have mounts
Also,
for
yeah,
that, so. But it would, yeah, it's interesting.
and indeed, like I said, night vision. That's gonna be an interesting one as well. Like infrared.
No, not infrared, probably. Yeah, well,
I,
it's not going
I'm
to
I'm
be
so
heat.
gonna blind you then. Just fire a flare arrow. No, you
I
can't see
guess
no
it could.
nothing no more because it's
Yeah, we haven't used flares in quite some time, but yeah, that's true. That'll be basically like a more technologically advanced version of a flare. So
Great ape now calls in backup during regeneration. More bones for juvenile apes. So the great ape, he's like you attack him, and at some point he's like, uh oh, I need some health regeneration. So then he calls and spits, during the call. He calls for the juvenile apes. The juveniles come in and start fighting you, whilst the great ape pulls back and regenerates some health.
not their fault, but it's a very large cliche on how certain boss fighting mechanics work.
True,
Because
true.
it's the same thing with the Scorpion King, and probably the same thing for other bosses as well. But that is
The
true.
alpha wolf with the normal wolves, etc. Yes.
There you go.
But
It's
hey,
a cliche.
it's a tried and proven concept, so if it works.
Yes.
Frostfire outpost, sorry. You get a new outpost, Frostfire? I don't know whether or not it's the current one. Looks like it's gonna be a new one.
I would imagine that they would want
Frostfire.
to probably present some sort of outpost for each expansion type of thing to make it a little bit unique, which makes sense. It is a
Yeah.
new.
Interesting name though,
Well,
Frostfire.
it doesn't. Well, yeah, it sounds like it's going to be more leaning towards Arctic and volcanic.
Yeah, but
So,
that would be the first outpost with multiple biomes.
oh, I see what you mean.
Interesting.
It's like an extreme outpost because obviously
Yeah.
both are on the extreme spectrum. So, yeah,
Huh. Okay.
yeah.
Okay, let's see. Ice Mammoth, remove ice pillar, unused sphere collider was accidentally interfering with reviving players. Oops.
Well, good luck reviving your ally when there's a rampaging mammoth trying to end your life. So
So
yeah,
be with at
it's
least three people. One having the aggro, and number two reviving the fallen player.
I'll just have Echo, and she'll be chased by everything and anything that's
Exactly.
on the
And we
map.
can sit back
So,
and laugh.
well, we'll probably have to do something. So we can
Yeah,
sit.
but we have to revive her again. I know.
Yeah, yeah, but that's strategic.
True.
Uh,
Adding a slug cocoon to use for the hammerhead boss slug recombine effect. What? So you fight the hammerhead, the big slug. Then a couple of patchnotes ago, we saw it's like gonna divide into multiple smaller ones,
yeah, no, it's
and now it's gonna
recombining
like
effects.
combine back to big one again.
Yep,
That's gonna be
makes
an
sense.
interesting one.
No, true, but that's also like a typical boss mechanic to some extent, where it's like a slug. A slug is going to break into smaller pieces and then sort of heal up to a certain extent, or distract you with a part of it, and then sort of It's also, yeah, I could see that happening. So,
Yeah,
yep, that
nice.
makes sense.
Fix the bug for the hammerhead slug. What it would freeze if it was looking for a merged target, but none to be found. Yeah, that's gonna be an interesting one. I like this.
Mm. And that's how you're going to eventually damage or probably kill it, because that's its weakened phase. So you can probably do damage to the small slugs or kill them off, and then it's like gradually whittling down his HP. Or like I said, we'll see.
Yeah. Adding ability for weapons to apply
So that
electric infusion to bullets to apply an extra damage multiplier. Currently
now
unique to the Scorpion rifle.
I like the sound of Scorpion rifle, but isn't the electric backpack thing applying on projectiles and
On all weapons,
bullets?
including fists, but also, yes, including projectiles.
In a
Although, having
firearm.
said
Have we
that,
tested that? Have
I
we
haven't
tested
I
that?
have not extensively tested that.
Yeah, because I mean, we've probably done it on like bows and stuff, but I
So
don't.
I think best way to test this is get a shotgun with the normal slugs,
Yeah,
the red ones, and fight the Scorpion King, for example.
yeah, true.
See if you can trigger
Backpack, yeah.
electroshock. It's a 15% chance, but you shoot 6 pellets per
Yeah, it
slug.
depends.
So in theory, every slug has like a 90% chance to trigger.
Well, it depends on how the calculations are.
True, true. But
Sorry. If it's done on spending of an ammunition counter,
yeah,
then that's
but
one way of
indeed,
doing it.
this is something I'm probably gonna test out at
Double
some
check.
point.
Yeah, just double check that one. I do like the fact that there's the new Scorpion rifle
Uh,
legendary weapon, which is pretty cool.
yeah,
Oh wait, it's a
more for
rifle,
the
not a launcher. Yeah, so it
more
was
for the
classified as a
Scorpion
launcher.
rifle.
Yeah.
Adding ability for focus items to recharge energy based on a modifier.
Mhm.
Energy of the player. I don't know. Adding virtual stat calculations for, amongst others, energy infused weapon damage. Uh, consumed energy per use. Attacks cause vulnerable percent. Adding the concept of vulnerable, which is a debuff which stacks to 5. Providing a minus 5% physical damage resistance per stack.
Got to do with the armor. Obviously, they mentioned quite extensively that they want to work on the armor, especially for the
Yeah, no,
boss.
no, this is not
Class.
for the armor. This is
No,
like
but it's
the attacks cause vulnerable
yes,
stat.
because the buff is armored, and therefore you need to usually get through the armor. But if you don't have a rifle which is
No,
going to have a penetration or the penetrating bullets which
no,
bypass
no,
armor, then you would usually want to maybe have some other way of debuffing it.
no, no, no.
And therefore,
This is gonna be like a pinned state, or a poison
ah,
state. They're adding like a vulnerable state.
yeah, yeah,
That's how I read this.
yeah.
Nothing to do with armor or something.
Yes, no, 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 I agree.
Okay, added blockout mesh for Eden Blast Bunker.
Ice Mammoth Sledgehammer?
Yep, I want one.
Well, makes sense. It'll probably be look like an Ice Mammoth's foot, so I would imagine.
Implementing stats for converting tools into pickaxes, so they can mine foxholes if required. Huh? So I'm taking my
Dynamically
axe, it turn
exchanging.
it into a pickaxe?
Yeah, that's an interesting one. It sounds like
Huh.
something weird.
Yeah.
Maybe they want to experiment with multi-purpose items, like rather than carrying a pickaxe and a shovel. you know, you would have a battle shovel, which both acts as an axe and a shovel, you know, kind
Yeah,
of
I don't
thing.
know. And the next one, implementing a stat for granting the Frost Cloud aura, which slows nearby enemies. This might be handy if you fight the Scorpion King on your own, because he's slightly faster than you. If you would have this Frost Cloud, this Frost Cloud aura, and if it slows down the Scorpion just enough so he no longer gains any distance on you.
Yeah, true. It's a kiting mechanic then.
Yeah, would be nice.
It's interesting how they would implement it. Might be related to the Frost Mammoth hammer, but it's not. It might be an aura from that perspective, which would be
It,
interesting
it is
because
an aura, it's not an area of effect, it is an aura.
no, I know it's an aura, but you could have an item which is a legendary item which might have
Yeah,
an
yeah.
aura-based mechanic attached to it, such as, you
If you
know,
have it equipped, like the Neve's pickaxe.
yeah. Or, for example, having the Black Wolf revolver allows you to see at night, or such as night vision effect, or you know something like that, which has
Hmm,
unique, rather powerful modifiers because you've killed a rather powerful, you know, creature.
that would be
So
nice. An interesting approach, and definitely weapon of choice is gonna be way more thinking about like, okay, which weapon am I gonna choose when?
especially if it's going to be like a back-mounted, perhaps, like weapon, which is you know limits the you know you can't just carry everything kind of thing. So
Yeah, a lot of very interesting possibilities here, you know. I like
yeah, I
this.
mean there's a whole bunch of content because you don't want to just be able to carry everything, you know, just chucking in a bag. You would want to have a little
You're
bit of
gonna run out of
team-based.
inventory slots.
Not true, but I mean you've got the armor sets that allows you to build a trillion and one slots plus the four slots whatever I have used. So yeah, no, but yeah,
I
you
still
would
haven't
want
been
to
able
sort
to
of
go beyond 78 slots.
yeah, just four screens worth is it's not that bad. But yeah. Um,
Let's see. Great ape jumping stuff. Eden base. Add a blockout message for entrance and Theo's bunker. The Eden bunker. Okay. And it modifies auras instead for ape resist, ape strong, ape speed, ape club area of effects, slow shred dot. Ooh. You don't want to be anywhere close to the ape when he smashes his club.
yeah, there was something about a bleeding proc of something similar to that effect. I recall a little bit.
Health leech chance, health leech amount.
Probably got to do with the Hammerhead slug,
Ooh.
I would imagine.
I don't know, maybe one of the legendary weapons. Like you steal health from your target.
Yeah, the
Non-projectiles
could be.
only, eh? So, for example, the gauntlet.
Yeah, true, could be. Although I would imagine it to be more based upon the slug than the ape.
Was the gauntlet, was it the ape gauntlet?
Yeah, it
Don't
was the
recall.
ape gauntlet, I think. Yeah, it
Okay.
was. Yeah, but I would imagine it's got to do something with the slug, Hammerhead slug, because it's like a leech kind of thing. Makes sense.
The ape enraged blood scales melee damage and speed based on percentage of health. And no mechanism, but which I like. Okay, let's see.
Lava Hunter flamethrower.
Let me find it.
That's just a little bit lower, but it's like removing underground meshes, stats from adding stats for flamethrower splitter, which fires two
Oh, definitely,
streams
yeah.
from the flamethrower, which increases the damage radius. Which is that sounds cool. Where do we get double-barreled flamethrowers? That's freaking awesome. And then what's
Lava
right
Hunter,
below that?
yeah.
Lava Hunter flamethrower, which makes sense because that would probably be its unique weapon
Yeah.
thing, which
But
is pretty cool.
you're skipping the butchery bench, man. Feature locked butchery bench. This blueprint is not yet available to players.
We had the butchering bench to begin with, which we
Cooking
stopped
station we
using.
have.
No, but we had a butchering. You had the butchering table, which we
No, no, no.
used
To,
many years ago.
what to
Don't you
turn?
remember the butchering bench?
No, it was the cooking station where you turn meat
No,
into animal fat. And you have the
no,
scanning
dude.
scanning bench,
Yeah, skinning bench.
but we never had the butchery bench.
Oh yeah, but I mean, for me, the skinning bench was the butcher bench, wasn't it?
No, no,
You
no,
could
no, no.
butcher.
Scanning
Yeah,
bench was to
you put
skin
the
animals.
carcass. You put no,
Yeah,
you put the carcass in the thing. Don't you remember? You put
yeah,
like
yeah,
you took the deer and you put it in the thing because you had a better yield than just
yeah. That's
you
the
know
skinning bench.
butchering it yourself. Because that's what you do. You take an animal and you butcher it,
While you
taking the
skin it.
meat out of the animal. No, but it was also for butchering.
Yeah.
It was
You,
better.
you
It
had
was
higher
better for
yields, but
leather and yeah,
yeah, but it was the skinning
including the meat.
bench. But I
Yes,
wonder what the butchery bench is gonna be like. Cooking bench, you can turn prime meat into normal meat. Can you do the opposite in butchery bench?
doubt it.
I don't know. Then what else would be the use of a butchery bench?
That's my point. I don't see any purpose to it because I would just use the skinning bench. That was my point.
Yeah. Yeah, the disadvantage of
'Cause-
skinning bench is you have to bring every animal back.
yeah, true, but that's why we stopped using it. And the same
Exactly.
thing I would imagine for a butchery bench, but if it was a table, like a crafting table, it might, be something unique, but there's already enough kitchen things.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, the flamethrower splitter indeed is an interesting one.
yeah, well, it's just Lava Hunter. It's a
Lava Hunter
unique.
living weapon split fire
Yeah,
alteration.
yeah. So it means it just has like an alt fire option, which means it probably burns twice as much fuel, obviously. But
Probably.
yeah, I mean, twice the flames, twice the fun.
Adding concept of pyrophobia. So we have the vulnerable. No, also have the
Mm,
pyrophobia. Stackable, maximum 5, which reduces fire resistance by 5% each stack. So you hit it with a flamethrower, it gets pyrophobia, so it's more vulnerable to fire. You hit it again, it becomes even more vulnerable to fire. Cool.
Yeah, now I'm wondering whether or not that's a debuff on our end because we would take more
Uh,
damage.
I hope not.
Actually, I think that would probably be the more interesting thing to try and avoid certain attacks, or else you would get the debuff, which means you would be easier to get killed or one shot. So that does make some extent, especially because the
True.
high tier freezer we have makes it quite,
It
you
does
hard
make it
block quite
more of a
big.
challenge, yes.
Yeah, which makes sense as well. Stay out of the big red glowy area where you're going to get hit if you don't move out of it, type of thing. So yeah, I think that makes sense.
Slug launcher.
Yeah.
Let's see. It's a rock golem gauntlet, actually.
Oh yeah.
Adding upgrade and part images. So make a base version and kill another rock golem so you can upgrade the gauntlet.
True. Yeah.
Nice.
Does make me think in Valheim you have like a rock golem gauntlet of some sort, don't you?
A golem? No.
Yeah, no, the rock golems.
Yeah,
Remember
you
there
have
was like
sorry, the gauntlet. No, you have the golems. Yes, in
yeah, but there wasn't there
the
an
mountain.
item oh yeah, I know you have, but wasn't there a specific item that you had to make from the bodies or something?
No,
I don't know,
you
we'll see
just got
eventually with the
stone and crystals from it.
the crystals. The crystal was used to upgrade like a certain hammer of some sort. I remember. The rock golem hammer or something like that.
Possibly.
Yeah.
That I don't know anymore.
Yeah.
Too long ago. We'll get there again.
Yeah.
Uh, duh, duh, duh. Fix legend weapons, the model view, 3D model view, and upgrade slots when upgrading in the biolab. Yeah, you can upgrade them. Cool, cool. Great Ape will now occasionally produce noxious gas when low on health.
Yeah, we mentioned before that we was going to do like something smelly, so
Hmm. Set up the slug launcher so it can be fired and reduces its water ammo when fired. Huh? What? Gonna fire water? Slug launcher? That doesn't sound dangerous.
I would imagine a slug is like, yeah, because a slug is like a jelly-ish kind of creature, so maybe at a certain point it would need to,
Shoot.
lubricate the gun itself. It doesn't sound
But
great, but yeah.
reduces its water ammo.
Mm.
Huh. So it's gonna shoot water. So only useful in case of like forest fires or so.
Maybe.
Meh.
Or unless you shoot water at particularly hot enemies which live in very volcanic
True.
environments where
True.
water might be a very good damage mechanic, such as fire extinguishers on lava thingamajiggies.
Stone
That was
jaws
mentioned in
if
Patches
they
before. Stone
the
jaws,
stone jaws
that's the
if
one,
they
yeah.
are
Yeah, yeah,
in the
that's what I
glowy
mean.
state.
Exactly. Something to that effect.
Added
Yet
blockout
again, building
meshes and
some sort
materials
of,
for
yeah.
Iris's lab and most area. Hmm. Yeah, you wanted to say?
No. It's
Okay.
like it generates a sense of progression sequencing for certain monsters because you would need to kill, well, you would want to kill the slug boss or the hammerhead slug in order to get the unique weapon which helps you against a
The
lava
lava
thing, which
hunter.
once you get gives you the flamethrower, which makes it easier to clear out something
The ice
against the
mammoth, for
ape boss.
example.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. You know what I mean. So yeah,
yeah.
that's the type of thing. Which yet again also introduces those debuffs might also be specific to the legendary items then, because the pyromania, used against a creature, makes sense as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adding great fart audio to the great ape fart gas cloud animation montage.
Yeah, that's
Imagine someone
mandatory.
sitting in the studio farting all the way in order to get like the proper fart sound.
I don't think it would go that far, but
Yeah, you need
somebody's
a sound, so you need to record it.
somebody's gonna have some fun. But there's a lot of audio clips out there available, so you could do it either
Nah.
in
You
person
want
or.
original work for this, Carl? Oh, come on.
All right, yeah, okay, all right, yeah, that's a good point. Although there was one interesting thing over here, Hammerhead Slug was added an early merging cocoon mechanic. Now the cocoon ties back to the silk, so I'm actually wondering if there would also be some sort of silk-ish kind of substance from
There.
the
Yeah.
slugs or
Yeah.
something.
I don't know. Not
I
necessarily
would lean
silk,
more
eh?
towards spiders. Yeah, I know
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. So it does say cocoon, but that could be like a phase thing. So yeah.
Like could be like some slime cocoon.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, exactly.
Ice mammoth should no longer turn into a corpse, but should have the correct highlightable tooltip on death. Ice mammoth. So if it doesn't have a corpse, then how are you gonna get the ice mammoth specific stuff? Ape, ice mammoth, and rock golem should now be dropping their relevant loot items, so, but not
Hmm.
into a corpse, apparently. Okay. Yeah.
How did it look when you skinned a mammoth?
I saw the one where the new corpse for the Colombian mammoth, so it doesn't grow fur upon death. I don't know, it's been a while since I played Prometheus. Colombian mammoth is in Prometheus. Although
Oh,
having
well.
said that, um, I recently had to kill a mammoth for a mission in Olympus, and I took its vestige, and it turned out to be uh, other one than the standard one in the Arctic. So not the woolly one. So it must be the Colombian one.
Colombian, yeah.
I don't know. I'd have to see which mission it was, and then I have to watch back the stream. Let's see. Update Gargantuan missions to add more guidance for players. Defense wave creatures will prioritize players.
Yeah, it is rather irritating if you are getting a waved mechanic and the animals mostly just go to the objective rather than taking on the
The
enemy that's
players.
actually
Yeah.
shooting at them. Yeah.
Legendary weapon flamethrower now comes pre-filled with biofuel. Good. Great ape stats have been reduced for solo players. Maybe it was a bit too hard for solo players. I don't know. Oh, here, reduce damage radius when dropship lands on a landing pad. So
Yep.
reduce the radius, not completely get rid of it, but reduce it.
No, of course, reducing it. Yet again, that was mentioned, I think, in previous patch notes where it was, reducing it.
Let's see. Anything else? The Great Ape Log project does disappear quicker. Increase the chance that the Great Ape will call in support. That's
Yeah.
the juvie apes. Permitted juvenile apes to cross shallow water.
Yeah.
Let's see. Added detail normals to the Orca with a K base and carcass material. Updated Orca texture with reduced redness around the horns. So it's going to be
Yeah.
some kind of horned animal.
Yeah, there was mentioning of an orca much further up, but
Yeah, but not really much info there. That's why I
exactly,
skipped
yeah.
it at that point. I knew this one was
Yeah.
coming up.
So yeah, would it
We still don't know anything about it except that it's going to be horns. Gonna have
might
horns.
be a type of bison or buffalo variant of the new map zones of some sort. Don't know.
I don't know. If this is an Elysium creature, I reckon it's gonna be way more alien.
Yeah. Well, aliens
Like
can have horns.
like Tusker-esque, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Let's see. Anything more here? Update rock golem eating a rock. Lupin lighting to match other crystals in the arena. Meh.
Mm.
Nerf Tyrannus
Mm.
stats in
Yeah.
starting areas. Level 1 to 30 spawns. 15%
Yeah.
decrease in average damage and 33% reduction in average health.
Yeah. I
Apparently,
saw that.
too many players,
The horse is mean.
starting
That thing
players,
is mean.
got killed by Tyrannuses.
I would
Tyranni?
say so. Exactly. Yeah. They're pretty mean. So yeah, I don't like them.
Yeah,
But
but
yeah, so,
then those people, they start in the Riverlands. They know nothing about the game. They start in the Riverlands instead
yeah.
of the Central
Oh, look,
Forest.
there's a horsey. I want to go hit the horsey, and then the
I want
horse
to
just
go pet
decides to
it.
kill them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Adding ape heel scream vocalization.
Yeah, that's probably the please help me now whilst I go heal kind of translation.
Yep.
They're definitely working on the ape battle quite a bit.
Oh yeah.
Fix divide by zero bug in the boss health bar.
Yeah. Well, I've seen like with sandworms, there is
Mhm.
this big health bar on top of the screen. Well, as in empty health bar and stays empty until the thing dies.
Mhm.
Hopefully, this will be fixed. I mean, I never
Mhm.
look at it, but it would be nice if you have at least like an indication.
Mhm.
And right now, it's something added which does not work. So, yeah.
Ah, added a volume to den entrances to darken as you get further inside, which yet again is a very good one to show immersion. Audio is very important.
Yep, I'm trying to find it.
It
What?
was fix nav mesh issues, Great Ape now, level blah blah blah, Hammer Slug, added health bar for Hammerhead Slug, blah blah blah, fixing Ice Mammoth AI audio entry,
Yeah.
which is blah blah blah, and then
Oh, this one here.
it's
ATP
add
volume to
ATP
the yeah.
volume, yeah,
Yeah.
which is basically it again, it's audio. It's just, you
Similar
know,
behavior to cave entrance. Yeah, definitely more,
yeah,
way
mm,
more immersive.
inversion,
True,
yeah.
true. Oh, made entrance to a rock golem den. Smoother and more easily navigable. So,
Hmm.
maybe this is only like the Great Hunt rock golem then? Where you have to like go into a den to, huh? And then they're in a cave, all of a sudden this rock golem steps out of the wall.
Well, you probably might need to put a drill down as part of a mission, which then summons it. Who
Mission inside
knows?
a cave, yeah, inside the
Hmm.
den. I don't know, maybe.
We'll see.
Disable space repair button when item durability is full, so you're no longer wasting this 5 or 10 I believe, 10 Ren
Hmm. Hmm.
on
Hmm.
repairing an item that has no damage.
Hmm.
Uh, Great Ape now jumps high in tree to escape players and regens. The animations do
It's
need an
probably part
update
of
though.
that screaming thing.
Yeah, it's a scream
Yeah,
and then jumps all the way to the top of the tree
yeah, just
to regen some
give it a bit of
health,
a
and then when it comes down, they added screen shake.
scammer shake. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, something jumps high and lands, you know, from a height, then you would imagine some sense of if visual effects.
I wonder if it's up in the tree, can we still shoot it with bow and arrow
We should be able to.
or a gun? Make Great
But
Ape
you'll
pick
probably
alternative player targets periodically.
not if
So,
Echo's around.
well, that's something we'll have to test. If she's back,
Yeah,
then we'll have to test this.
yeah.
Fix an issue with critical hits on clients for Great Ape. Good, because we're all client if we play on a dedicated server.
Yep.
Ice Mammoth armor regeneration will only happen when in the third phase and it's lower than 75% armor as to not waste time.
Hmm.
Remove Mammoth gaining armor when walking near pillars. Makes a specific attack. Oh, good, so it no longer accidentally regenerates armor. Good.
Well, it depends on how the boss mechanic will work, but that will definitely make it, you know, if you need to destroy or lower his armor value in order to actually do damage, then having it automatically being regenning in certain scenarios, which might be irritating, would
Yeah,
help.
which is gonna make it impossible to kill it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's like, oh, he's close to a pillar, which means he's not downgrading it, but means you have to kite him away from the pillar, but then you're exposed, so there could be mechanics in place, but especially because I think he will shoot shards of ice, which usually we would need to hide behind to not get frozen or slowed or basically trampled. Because yeah, if you're slowed by an ice spike that slowed you and a big mammoth is about to just stomp on you, I don't think you're going to be very happy of the outcome of that.
Nope. Oh yeah, fixing the Great Hunt Rock Golem condensed exotics cleaning recipe, which was trying to clean
Hmm.
condensed enzymes. So
Yeah,
we get some
that's
condensed and exotics, which we then have to throw into some kind of bench to clean it.
yes, and that
Maybe
might.
the organic residue cleanser, but that would be a Prometheus item. So if you don't have Prometheus, you can't build it benches. So maybe we get like a new bench for this. Because Great Hunt is
Mm,
going to be a separate DLC, which you should be able to play regardless whether or not you have Prometheus. So
I don't know how that usually works because usually, for example, expansions are. No, it's not DLC, but it's expansion. So it's like,
Great Hunt is
'cause-
going to be a free expansion actually, if I'm not
well,
mistaken.
that's the
Yeah.
thing. That's the thing because expansion is coupled, so you can't play Wrath of the Lich King without owning Burning Crusade, which you can't do without this, or Cataclysm, and there's like a chain of things that you can't do because
Mm,
it's built on
rem-
top of each other.
remember how it said the for the Great Hunt some kind of den on the Olympus map in this very
Yeah,
same patch notes. So
yeah, it
it's
does
not going to
backdate.
be an expansion on Prometheus. No, it's going to be an expansion on Icarus in the broadest.
Yes.
So
True.
I don't think you should need a Prometheus specific bench to make full use of the stuff you get from this expansion. Then
Valid.
fixing Great Hunt Rock Golem E. So this is the fifth mission. Fixing issue where water and biofuel quest steps were not working correctly. Aha. Aha. So the D for the fourth quest step where you get the condensed exotics. Then the E step, fifth step, water and biofuel. So you need to make some kind of device, or make or power some kind of device to clean the condensed exotics. And then with the one above, the F step, where a number of kills were not displayed correct. So uh,
Certain
defend
requirements and
defend the
restrictions.
thing like we had with the one for the cave worm, where you had to shove the stuff in the device analyzer and then defend it against the
Yeah,
cave
yeah,
worms
yeah.
that were popping up around it. Something to
Yeah,
that
that's
extent.
fair. And that was pretty fun, I think. It's, you would
Yeah,
have an activity, to do whilst,
exactly.
defending or doing
And not
something.
like put
Makes
down a
sense.
couple of beacons and wait 2 hours for some timer to complete.
Yeah, pretty much that's the boring approach.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So yeah, so either build or operate a device to clean the exotics. Huh, okay. Adding very quick setup of chainsaw and jackhammer. So we're gonna get a chainsaw for biofuel operators probably, for faster woodcutting, and a jackhammer for faster stone mining,
Well,
or mining in
perhaps
general.
mining in general, that's the thing. So
I wonder, with my talents and the proper food, I can mine pretty quickly already. If the
true.
jackhammer is gonna outperform that, that means I have to rethink my my solo character,
Well,
my solo
mining,
talents.
you don't do much mining with your electric drills anymore now, do you?
Stone.
Yeah, that's a fair point. You don't get stone electric drills.
There is actually.
Oh, is there? Okay, I didn't know
It
that.
is in the pool. However,
Okay.
you have to have had your started your open world after it was added to the pool. As it is with all deep veins, the only exception being the frozen wood,
Yeah.
where they decided to add it, like add a couple of new
No, so
vein locations, with a guarantee of at least X amount having the frozen wood. So people who had this their open world already and were having an issue in the ice sheets with getting wood, ice sheet and or
Yeah, they weren't forced
ash
to
lands.
start over. Yeah.
Exactly. Although the location of the deep wood vein is actually in the ashlands, not in in the ice sheets, not in the ashlands. But yeah, stone. There are stone deep veins, but again, your open world must have been started after that material has been added to the pool.
Hmm.
Fix issues with critical hits on dedicated server clients for the Great Ape. More multiplayer stat tweaks. You have to definitely be working a lot on the Great Ape. Small additional refurb tweak to the slug grenade, adding a touch more explosiveness to it.
Always good.
Yeah.
Explosions.
Explosiveness. Let's see. Increased lifetime of spit projectile payloads, so that goo pool particle doesn't disappear too quickly. That must be the hammerhead slug.
Yeah. Could also
Or
be
the
the
hammerhead slug
monkey.
launcher, maybe.
Could also be the monkey spitting at you, singing.
No,
I don't know.
this goo was mentioned earlier in combination,
Slug.
in relation to the slug.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm, this is an important one. A Great Hunt missions will now show a lockout when a choice has been made and the other paths are locked out. Um, how shall I word this? Apparently there will be multiple paths,
Hmm.
uh, but they gonna be mutually exclusive. Like it's an either you go this path or you go that path.
True.
This is
Now,
true for an open world. If you do want the other path, you have to start a new open world and do the Great Hunt from there.
it is interesting.
Keep that in mind for the Great Hunts. I assume there will be more info about this in further patch notes. I have now, I've now to try and balance what I read here with what I know. So at least now the Great Hunt message will not actually tell you like, hey, if you go this way, you can't go that way no more.
Yes, if it's an exclusive choice.
It is exclusive choice, I can tell you that.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. Changed crystal light color. Oh, we're gonna get new lights. Crystal
I
lights.
think I read that as well from the Golem or something like that. So I think there was discussions about, oh, it's going to act like the decor pack thing perhaps, which is pretty cool for people that, haven't bought it, but more difficult to obtain, but therefore not being content locked for such a handy,
Eh,
item.
adding cave worm spawner and setting up spawning outside caves when the world stat is present. Um, uh, yeah, this is a stat. When the world stat is present, this stat can be set uh, depending on paths, or might be able to set depending on paths chosen in Great Hunt.
Yes.
one of the paths is gonna allow you to like have cave worms out in the open. Fixing an issue where there was no limit to the number of cave worms spawned in the Rock Golem B mission.
Yeah.
So they basically kept on coming.
It's not unique to that, but
Well,
yeah, I mean,
I did the thaw out the frozen mammoth
yeah,
operation
that mission.
yesterday.
If you basically don't thaw out the mammoth, I'm pretty sure that they'll keep on coming, right?
They kept on coming, them wolves, yeah.
Yeah.
Even after the thing was thawed out. So I
Yeah.
just packed up and, and went my way,
Ran
my
out.
merry way.
It's not the first time that happened.
Although, having said that, after a couple of minutes, the icon disappeared from the map. So I reckon it took a couple of minutes for the operation to be cleaned up, and thus for the endless wolf spawns to stop.
It's good XP farm.
And
Wolves are
bones.
really good
I
XP.
had 1600 bones, and unfortunately, because I had my horsey on defensive instead of passive, and there was a wolf spawn relatively close to where I had put the base with the horse and my battle. The horsey destroyed my mortar and pestle and my battle, so I put down a new battle. But he also destroyed the mortar and pestle, and I didn't have a spare one of those, so I had to carry all the bones back instead of turning them into crushed bone into epoxy.
Ah,
So I could only carry back 1600 bone.
versus if you crushed it, you could have carried back way more.
Yeah, 400 bone is enough for. Let's see. Now 200 it goes bones goes to 100 crushed bone, 400 crushed bone for 100 epoxy, so 800 bones for 100 epoxy. So I only had
Yeah.
200 epoxy, so I could have carried back 8 times that amount if things like my knife would have held out, but then again I can go for a
A
bow knife to
pickaxe.
skin
Oh yeah, oh
for
yeah, yeah.
skinning.
It's just the skinning part, yeah.
So yeah, and then like the amount of time I wanted to spend on that operation, you know, like
I mean,
I had like 8 fire pits next to the corpse, and it was still very slowly thawing out. But I could have turned them off and then basically kept on going farming bones. It is actually a very good one to farm bones. Very good
well,
operation.
for XP as well, but I'm
And
wondering,
XP, yeah.
would you be able to use the flamethrower against the mammoth to speed up the process?
Um, I have not tried, but it is not about damage you do. It's
It's just
about
about time.
environment temperature. Sure, the flamethrower very locally increases the temperature. So
Mm.
yes, you can thaw it out with a flamethrower, but it is gonna take a long time. You have to constantly refill your flamethrower, and you have to defend yourself, and
True,
etc.
true,
etc.
true, true.
etc.
No, I mean, I'm just saying.
So I basically just used the flamethrower to, and mainly used it to get rid of the Arctic scorps, which came wandering in ever so often.
We're getting close to the end,
Yeah.
so
Rock Golem Arena Polish. Decrease the light radius from 300 meters to 150. Add more crystal lights near the entrance to help with navigating the dark area. Ooh, so the Rock Golem arena, the den, might be quite dark. Huh.
might be, but it's also why they might introduce the night vision or something like that. Like I said, there's many options and possibilities.
Yeah, I know, but night vision usually is based on infrared. Rock Golem, being rock, how well is that gonna show up on infrared, right?
Well, you've got thermals and then you have infrared, but it's also you have the
Infrared is
ones.
thermal, basically. Heat radiation, infrared.
Yeah.
To an extent, true, but the other one is like shit, what's the English word?
Which one?
Yeah, the little amount of light that you have, like,
Yeah,
increases in
exactly. Yeah,
strength. Yeah.
that's the point that I was thinking of actually.
Yeah, true, true, true.
But there's more conventional night vision.
Yeah.
But yeah, and
Okay,
I think
let's see.
that's pretty
Editor
much getting
ref,
to the
using
end, right?
listing on the screen, laptops. Fur pattern weave and silk weave. Curtains are mentioned again.
Mm,
And yeah, that's basically the future content. Like I said, quite a
quite a
lot of
lot.
future content.
Yeah, indeed.
So, I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna go out for a quick smoke. How far is your game update?
Oh, it's done.
It's done, good. So we're gonna take
Um, uh,
a break, like what, 10-15 minutes?
yeah, should be
And
fine.
then we will be back with some subsequent gameplay. Prometheus open world. So let's see, the new stuff is basically uh, coconut provide wood now. That's basically the new, big new one.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. But we'll get back to that,
Yeah,
after the short break.
exactly. So, Carl, thank you for doing the Patchnotes discussion with me. Doing discussion is always better than just reading out loud.
Yeah, indeed.
And
Pleasure being here.
yeah. And for the viewers, I hope you enjoyed us going through the Patchnotes, so you don't have to. Definitely appreciate you folks being here. I hope you have a good time, and we will be back in 15ish minutes.